Hello friends, today I want to dive into a topic that I get as a question quite a bit, and that is, should I buy a single or multifamily home? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Should I buy a single or multifamily home? Well, by the end of this video, you're gonna have a clear understanding of the benefits and challenges of both single family homes and multifamily properties. And throughout this video, I'm gonna help you make the best decision for your investment portfolio. And I'll even give you my selection on what you think I should do right now in this current economy. I know when it comes to real estate investing, there's that itch to jump into the big things right from the get-go. And it isn't necessarily bad, but which property type offers the best cash flow or long-term appreciation? Well, stay tuned as I jump into this and guide your decision between single family and multifamily homes. And I'll do that by first diving in and defining what a single family home is, as well as what is a multifamily home. Next, I'll talk about the pros and cons of each and the barriers to entry. And finally, I will give you my opinion as a 20-year real estate investor on which strategy I currently like best in this economy. If you're ready, let's go. Typically, the real estate market consists of four different areas. You have commercial, industrial, land, and residential. And under residential, there's typically two categories. There's single family and multifamily. So let's define single family homes. So the easiest way to look at this, it's none of the others, right? And it's a single family residence, right? Meaning that one family or one group of individuals can live in that home. Simply put, it is the segment of real estate that houses humans. And one of the reasons single family homes are so important because it really is the American dream to own your own home, to have home ownership. And in today's current economy, that has become even more challenging. And it's been a hot topic that has been on the docket when you look at the political environment that we are currently in. It's also part of the basic human need of shelter. Everybody needs a roof over their head or deserves a roof over their head. It is also most people's largest and most important investment they will ever make. So think about it this way. If you know of somebody, let's say that they bought their first home in California, 30, 40 years ago, and they're getting towards kind of retirement. If they bought the home, say 30 years ago in the mid 90s, chances are they got the home at this price. If they were to sell that home right now, they would have tripled or quadrupled their money. And if they bought a home for say $300,000 back then, it could potentially be worth $1.5 or more million. So when you consider that, for most people, that is the most important and strategic investment they will ever make, is owning their own single family home. So now let's define multifamily. It is also considered residential, but usually part of a larger complex that has more than one living space. These are things like condos, duplexes, townhomes, or apartment buildings, or anything like a fourplex or an eightplex. So any construct of housing units that are grouped together make up multifamily. So let's talk about the pros of single family homes. Number one, affordability. The investment required for a single family home many times is much lower than a multifamily property. This is often reflected in the down payment. If it is an owner-occupied single family home, sometimes you can get in with as little as 3%, 5% down on a single family home, whether it's your owner-occupied home or even a second home, you can get in as low as 10%. Whereas a multifamily home or multifamily property, it's considered an investment property, which many times banks will require 20, 25, or 30% of a down payment. And many times multifamily homes cost a lot more than a single family home. So if you're looking at a single family home that's $250,000, at 3% to get into that is $7,500 versus say a multifamily property that's $1 million, and that's very low, but at 25% on average, that's $250,000. So affordability is a massive pro for a single family home. Another positive for single family homes is accessibility. With a lower purchase price, various financing options, and fewer legal complications, investing in single family homes is relatively much easier than it is for multifamily homes. You also have geographic diversification for single family homes. Buying multiple single family homes in multiple different locations throughout the United States is much easier and easier to understand the rules and regulations associated with that because there are much less than it is multifamily homes in various locations. You also have flexibility, which is definitely a positive when it comes to single family homes. They're generally easier to sell, and there's a lot of different strategies that can be deployed on single family homes, from lease options slow flips, short-term rentals, mid-term rentals that might be more challenging on multifamily complexes. So what are some of the negatives or cons of single-family homes? Number one, limited returns. The returns for single-family homes tend to be much lower than they could be potentially on multifamily properties. And this can also be exacerbated sometimes by unforeseen costs. Maybe there's a repair, maybe it's vacant for a period of time. These can all go to impact the profitability of that single family home. The second con or potential negatives is limited growth potential. To expand your real estate portfolio with single family homes, every time you buy one, you're going to incur transaction costs. There will be legal fees and also negotiation. So now let's dive into the pros of multifamily. The cool thing about multifamily properties is it's income-based valuation, meaning that the valuation is based on how much income that property is pulling in. So many times you can get a loan on that piece of property, not based on your personal financial situation, but on the income that that multifamily property is producing. And the cool thing about that, just a couple of variations in a multifamily property by raising rents by 5% or 10%, or doing some minor repairs or making some additions to that property could significantly increase the value of that property. Because if rents were to only go up by 5% and you got people in there paying 5% more, the value of that property will go up significantly. Another benefit is efficiency. Multifamily properties offer economies of scale. It's much easier to manage a multifamily property with 10 doors versus 10 single-family homes that you own individually. Another benefit of multifamily homes are tax benefits. Multifamily properties have many more tax benefits than single-family homes, such as expense depreciation, accelerated depreciation, and deferred capital gains tax. It's also more stable. A vacant multifamily dwelling has less of an impact on rental income versus a single family home. For example, a 3-month vacancy in a 10-unit multifamily property results in a 2.5% annual vacancy rate. The same scenario in a single family investment is a ratio of 25% vacancy rate. So what are the negatives of multifamily? Number one, it's less affordable. Multifamily properties are more expensive, they're more challenging to acquire, they require more of a down payment. Getting into it is much more difficult than it is a single family home. There's more risks. Some of the risk involved with multifamily properties might be too daunting for a new real estate investor, particularly if there are unexpected costs or if there are market fluctuations. Think about it, if you got in and bought a multifamily property and there was something that went out like a plumbing fixture or heating and air conditioning for the entire complex, that can be extremely expensive and is a risk that many people don't want to take right from the get-go, especially as a new investor. So which investment strategy would I recommend to you as a real estate investor, single family homes or multifamily homes? So here's my advice and here's my feedback. When I first wanted to buy my very first home that I owned, I started thinking as a real estate investor, and this is what I did, and this is what I'd recommend to you, or if my son, if he was going to get started in real estate investing, or my daughter, this is what I recommend to them. And this is what I tried to do when I first got going, but I'll explain to you kind of the whole scenario. So I went and started looking for a multi-unit complex that I could buy. Nothing major, but I was looking for a duplex or a fourplex, where I could buy that property and I could live in one of the units and rent out the other unit. So it would be owner occupied, where I could qualify for a lower down payment, but at the same time, rent out the other units to have somebody else pay for my mortgage. And that's what I would recommend doing. If you are getting into home, especially as a first-time real estate investor, and you don't own a property right now, that is what I would consider doing. And even if that's not the case, I would look at getting something on a single family home on that level where you could do something to fix it up or to improve it. When I bought my first condo, the first condo that I ever owned, the first home I ever owned, it had an unfinished basement. And just by finishing that basement, I was able to sell that at a 40 or 50% price increase than what I bought it for. And finishing the basement at that time only cost about $15,000, and I made about $50,000 on that investment. And even currently right now, when I first built the first residential home that I owned in, I built into that home a basement apartment that I could rent out. And even currently right now, the home that I live in right now has a basement apartment that is rented out. And this is what I'd recommend to most people. I would focus on something that is probably a single family home to start with, but something that you can make multiple streams of income, whether it is a duplex where you live in part of the side, or I would start small with a duplex or a fourplex, or the home that you live in by renting out the basement apartment. Those are things that I think can be done right now in this economy that'll benefit you as a real estate investor, and something if you were to sell down the road could increase the value because there's a component where somebody else is helping make the payment. Now, these are things that I've seen work really well when it comes to single family homes or multifamily homes, but I'd be interested in your feedback. So comment below, let's engage in a dialogue. And as always, just for stopping by and watching this video, I've got a free gift for you. It is my short-term rental calculator. You input the price of the home, the income, the expenses, and it will actually spit out to you. This software will let you know if it's a good deal or not. It's 100% free, no obligation. Just click on the link below, aaronsfreetraining.com. Thanks for stopping by. Have an amazing day.